Okay, so a week after American Horror Story Delicate hit its mid-season finale, Season 3 of American Horror Stories has just been released, and the first of these anthological stories was titled Bestie, an interesting story which was focused on Shelby, an individual who suffered from bullying at school and befriended another individual online, which resulted in events that took a dark turn. So was this episode good? Was it creepy? Well, I thought I'd break down and explain all that there was to take away from the episode, along with answering just that. So let's get into it. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Why did River betray Shelby? So within this episode, we saw that after Shelby had her chaotic, manic, and outbursting moment, which climaxed when she broke her own hand after Bestie told her to, she made the decision to distance herself from her whilst she was recovering. But throughout that time period, she was still being messaged by her and receiving messages which said that there would be consequences if she didn't respond to her, because they were best friends. Whilst Shelby was on the mend and out of that chaotic mindset and attitude that Bestie influenced on her, we saw that she befriended somebody in the real world at her school called River. River signed her cast and initiated the act of friendship. He did also mention being her friend a couple of times, which was a bit of a red flag. However, after Shelby walked away, she received a message which mentioned how somebody knew that she poisoned the cauldron during the school drama production. And they also said that they wanted to meet in the afternoon. It was very I know what you did last summer-esque. This person turned out to be River, which did feel a bit random and weird considering that he could have just told her at the point where he signed her cast, instead of messaging her about 20 seconds later when she turned away. But anyway. He said that he wasn't going to tell on her, but he was impressed with her at what she did. He was also picked on by those kids for having a disability and always wanted to seek revenge, but he never could. River's heart was born on the outside of his body and he had to undergo several surgeries in order to survive. As time went on, Shelby and River grew closer, up until the point where they were in a relationship and it was time for them to leave the school. And when that time came, they planned on living with one another. With Bestie fully out of Shelby's life after River deleted their messages and her feeling so much better for it, the climax of the episode then began. It focused on River driving Shelby to a house that was abandoned, and upon Shelby seeing the ring light and the wallpaper inside of the house, she knew all too well that it was the house that Bestie lived in. From there, as Bestie came down the stairs, we saw that as Shelby screamed and ran away, she ran into River, and he stood there with a blade that then went into her heart and caused her to die, with the final words that she uttered being, "Why?" Well, it very much seems as though River was another Shelby to Bestie. He was a fan of the drag artist Anorexia like she was, and he probably got chatting to Bestie through the live streams just like Shelby did too. Seeing as though he was picked on and bullied like Shelby was, Bestie was probably able to relate to him in the same way that she did Shelby. They were both alone and looking for company. By utilizing the mantra of by facing your fears, awesome things could happen, and making them believe that they'll do anything for you, it showed that like how Bestie got Shelby to hurt her arm and also the other girls in the school, River did the same, but it was to her. Playing the long game with Shelby, luring her into a false sense of security and then acting when she least expected it. It very much seemed as though River was caught in the same web of manipulation as what Shelby was, but only he wasn't able to escape from it, and he didn't have anybody else around him like Shelby's father was for her to prevent him from falling deeper and deeper into the darkness that was impending. With River saying to Bestie, "You're the only friend I'll ever need. I did everything you ever asked me to do, and now we can be together forever." And with Bestie also saying, "Friend, best friend." They both walked out into the distance with the sun setting, showing that Bestie had fully sunk her claws into River and had him right where she wanted him. Shelby's heart being pierced was rather symbolic of the fact that after all this time she finally found somebody that she could trust, felt comfortable around and cared for after going through her entire school life being bullied and neglected, all for them to betray her and to quite literally break her heart. Overall review. Personally, I thought it was okay. I thought it was shot nicely, like it was crystal clear when watching it. The character of Bestie was definitely creepy. Their voice and the way that they acted was something which was quite haunting to watch. Their living situation definitely matched the way that they acted and the vibes that they gave off too. The story itself was a bit far-fetched. Jumping on a live stream and chatting to the one remaining person and then jumping on a video call within a matter of seconds was something that was a bit unnatural, but hey, for the context of the episode, I suppose it worked without feeling too ridiculous. I thought Shelby's mother passing away was going to have a stronger meaning and some kind of greater purpose, especially considering it was the first thing that we found out about the characters' lives. But I guess that was just used as a device to set up the plot and the mindset of the character Shelby. The fact that her father said to her, "You get to be whoever you want to be," and that the death didn't need to define who she was as an individual, I suppose it opened her up to the option and possibility of change, which is why we saw her go down such extreme paths. I'm glad we got to see Jeff Hiller in this. I enjoyed watching him in American Horror Story New York City. Although the show wasn't the best, his character as the serial killer was quite good, and he was a very creepy character. He worked well in this show for sure as the teacher. I don't think this was the best piece of television that I've watched this year, or even as creepy as the most basic of horror shorts go. I don't think it was that creepy at all. I feel like I would have liked some kind of deeper, more haunting and unexpected twist than what we got. It felt quite plain in the way that it concluded and also the delivery of the story. In terms of the performances, I thought that all of the characters were delivered well, to be honest. I don't think I could fault any performance. I don't think any of them were outstanding or incredible though, but I think all of the actors just did a great job and did what they needed to do. Bestie was probably the most interesting character and the only one that I wish we knew a little bit more about. Finding out about her mother's usage when she was pregnant, which caused her disabilities, was something which was interesting. But I was left wondering why she lived in that house that looked like that. It looked like it had been burned down inside, but it was quite a nice neighborhood. But hey, I guess that's one of many questions that they left out there in order to provide some mystery. Honestly, I had no clue that it was Jessica Barden that played Bestie. I would have never guessed that in a million years. I've not seen her in anything for a while, and I quite liked her in The End of the Effing World, so it was good to find out that it was her that played the role, as hopefully that means she'll pop up a bit more. I'm hoping that the other episodes in Season 3 are going to be a bit more haunting or have stronger twists that pack harder punches. Considering this has been released as a Halloween special and been released specifically in time for that, I hope that it does get leaned into a bit more. So overall, it was okay. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. Just okay. I suppose that kind of sums up the state of American Horror Story these days, to be honest. So the fact that it's managed to seep into stories too, it shows that it's something that maybe just can't be avoided anymore. So, there you have it, American Horror Stories Bestie Ending Explained. If you want to see more videos such as Endings Explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. What did you think of this episode? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.